Yeah, today is the 16th January, so we are having a MicroProfile technical call. If you haven't done already, please add your name to the minutes. So the link is in the chat. If someone can repost the link, would be great for the people who joined a little bit late. Please help out with the minutes and quote nicely. See. Okay, so it's the agenda basically in the new year. I think we should basically start more actively work on the MicroProfile 7 plan. So it's for the plan for the spec who currently making progress is telemetry. Basically, we are meeting up every week. Is a good attendance there, and then making more changes. So hopefully getting both metrics and logging into the next release. So that's for telemetry. And for config, so today we had the first call. However, not many people joined. So it's on Tuesday. It's on Tuesday, 2 p.m. Roberto, I saw you join this call. Do you think like next week you will be able to join the config call?
Maybe.
So it's do you think you can commit to like help out to do the more to basically collaborate on the MicroProfile config?
Well, I mean, I can have a look. It's just that I mean, we did settle that config should be mostly frozen because everything was going to happen on Jakarta, on the Jakarta side. So I have to wonder and ask if whatever we're doing over here is just not going to be a waste of effort and time of everybody. If then we keep doing MicroProfile config and Jakarta config, I mean, um, it is something that we have to question ourselves because we have this discussion multiple times in the past. And when we tried to move some things in MicroProfile config, people didn't want to work over there because Jakarta config was happening. And now we're trying to have people to work on MicroProfile config again, right? So in my view, it was not because of that I haven't shown today. I had a conflict with another meeting, but I think that's something that we have to consider if to try to figure out what exactly do we want to achieve with MicroProfile config or Jakarta config, right? Because I believe that decision was made a long time ago, but now we're talking about doing whatever on MicroProfile config. So in my view, this is like a conflict of decisions that we made a long time ago.
Yeah, so basically for the meeting, basically we want to discuss, agree on, discuss and brainstorm what's the way forward. And also not sure about Jakarta config, and now it's because it has been quite a few years. I think it's gradually it's basically the people not many people go there anymore. And then kind of also rediscussion to see whether it's kind of makes sense to move MicroProfile config to Jakarta land. So it's a kind of, but we have to have a discussion happen from somewhere. So basically, we can in the MicroProfile config group we discuss and to see, or maybe clean up something and to be in the stage to be moved, and then we join up with the Jakarta config to see like the what's the way forward. Probably is not going to basically if it's we freeze that and there's no Jakarta config coming out, so it's again is probably is not good for the end user. So we just need to basically get together, the people getting together to see what's the plan forward. So anyway, so the kind of the meeting is in the agenda, in the MicroProfile calendar. So if you have any views on the MicroProfile config, Jakarta config, and etc., I think it's join the next week's call. We discuss, brainstorm, and then we try to work out a way forward. So that's for the config. For REST client, I saw James joined call. So James, I let you quickly go through about REST client.
Sure. Yeah, I don't see a problem really with the REST client updating to the Jakarta REST 3.1 spec. I assume that's what we're talking about here. Sorry, I'm kind of new to this, so I'm still learning a little bit. But there really shouldn't be any major changes that would cause any issues upgrading that spec. If we need to file an issue on the Eclipse MicroProfile REST client issue tracker, I can do that today to do an upgrade to the 3.1 spec for the Jakarta REST spec. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so basically it's I think you guys keep on looking at the issues and do the PRs, and then kind of yeah, and commit to do a release to be included in MicroProfile 7 would be fine.
Okay.
Oh yeah, either 3.2 or 4.1 release, right? It's based on what kind of issues you are going to target. So we
Okay.
can work out at a later stage whether it's a major or minor release.
Okay, that sounds good. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't see a problem with that. I don't think there's anything major in anything that's changed enough to like really require any significant changes, so to speak.
Okay. Okay, thanks.
Yep.
OpenAPI, I think they will do a update, probably the major update, because they will be based on the OpenAPI standard 3.1. For GWT, I didn't join last week's GWT call. John, did you join the last week's GWT call?
No, I did not.
Oh, okay. So I asked them to discuss kind of the update for the MicroProfile 7. I will follow up to find out the GWT auth. And for tolerance, we need to be updated to integrate with MicroProfile telemetry. So that's kind of a plan and for this. So it's for the config. So basically, we need to work out what we are going to do. And pretty much for these ones is we'll have some update. And then let's have a quick look at the schedule. So before look at that, so the timeline. Component spec plan review. So basically, all the spec team need to, the plan for the issues and then prepare for the plan review in February. So that's you still have time, so that's fine. Now it's back to here. So it's basically it's kind of this one, not too sure, but health is based on Martin. So like a comment. Is Martin still on the call today? No. So based on his comment is doesn't want to do any update. So there's no update. And metrics.
That's worse.
So yeah. So metrics probably it will be not sure. They may not do updates, but metrics will be moved out of the kind of the 7.0. So the other spec, whether major minor, remain to be seen. So the only thing is kind of we're not sure yet. So it's the config properly. If we don't do update, again, that would be no update. So either no config, no health, no metrics, and the others will do update. So that's kind of pretty much the plan.
Yeah, but the config without an update means they are based on which parent version? If config is still on 2.x, right?
Yeah, it would be 2.x.
Not 3.x.
Correct. So that's a kind of very possible. We have to basically brainstorm what the future of the config. Hopefully, I invite all of you join the next week's call. Basically, we have to have the conversation. Conversation has to start from somewhere. So it's kind of the config. So it's what do we want to do about config? So have that a brainstorm and then also join up with the Jakarta config to see if we say we're going to go ahead to do more update and also maybe address some Jakarta config basically initial concerns or something like that. And then we see whether like we clean up the MicroProfile config to do a release and then bring to the Jakarta land. So at the moment, basically, I do not see any update on the Jakarta config as yet, but I will sync up with Dimitri, hopefully in the next couple of weeks to see what we are going to do with the Jakarta config and the relationship with the MicroProfile config. Yeah, and go from there. But if we do want to basically do a release for the config, so we will just change the parent POM to align with the EE10. So if any spec do update, I think the align with MicroProfile parent, it should be included. So that's all for this MicroProfile 7. So I'm hoping to see a lot of update like in January time in the next couple of weeks. Are there any comments or concerns?
Yeah, I highly support that approach, finding a solution for MP config. I think until there is a release of Jakarta config that is part of the core profile, we are forced to maintain MP config. And if there is a Jakarta config release available in a Jakarta E platform release, then yeah, we might still have the requirement to base an MP config enhancement to that to don't lose any functionality we rely on at the moment. Yeah, looking forward for that meeting next Tuesday, right?
Yeah, so on the calendar, yeah, in the MicroProfile calendar. Yeah, I agree, Yan. So basically, at the moment of time, Jakarta config will be quite a basic. So MicroProfile config can do a lot more from currently. So I understand that basically you don't really want provide no migration plan whatsoever for the customer currently using MicroProfile config. Suddenly we remove the MicroProfile config and then there's no alternative functionality provided by Jakarta config. And so far I haven't seen basically the commitment and etc. when to release Jakarta config as yet. But yeah, I will basically touch base with Dimitri and to see what we are going to do with the Jakarta config. Yeah, one of the option is to move MicroProfile config to Jakarta. That's what we discussed prior to Christmas last year.
Yeah, and as Roberto pointed out, the requirement to even make CDI configurable with Jakarta config. So having functionality or a subset of functionality defined maybe in a core config part. If we do that within MicroProfile, then it might be easier to pick up that part and make a Jakarta config version out of it that is usable.
Yeah, or the MicroProfile config integrate with Jakarta config.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, the other thing is also if like it takes the Jakarta config too long, many years to release, maybe it's better for MicroProfile config to make more progress before before Jakarta config basically come into existence or released. Probably waiting not to do anything may not be the kind of the wise thing to do either. So anyway, we discuss next week on brainstorm, and then we can do something with it. Yeah, so this is kind of the plan so far. So far,
Are there any notes from the meeting today?
yeah. So the meeting today is just two people. We just went through the issues, open issues on the MicroProfile config, and then it's kind of see is if we do a release MicroProfile config 4 and what kind of things need to be cleared. But I know there's a kind of concern with the config properties. So I think it's all the issue related to that, we can clear it up. It's yeah, it's only it's a half an hour call. We just closed a couple issues, and then it's went through all the most open issues to see what issues we can tackle. Yeah, so with that, so basically it's invite most of you to join that call next week, so we can move this forward. And the config is ever so important. Okay, so that's for MicroProfile 7. Are there any other comments related to this?
Is there any MicroProfile health call? I cannot see that on the calendar.
No, there's no kind of activities. Basically, I will see that spec is pretty much mature.
Yeah, but basing it on an old version, an old major version of the parent means we cannot solve all the CVEs that are included there to dependencies. And yeah, to make it maintainable, we should really think about doing a release to adopt that same parent version that all the other specs would use, if we solve that issue for config, of course.
Yeah. For the CVEs, if like hopefully they all got basically the alternative fixes for the different versions. If we can, we can also maintain the parent POM, that branch to the X branch.
Yeah,
we can update
also,
the macro release, do a macro release.
Yeah, but they also depend on older versions of Jakarta E specs as a minimum. So
Yes.
to sync that would be really helpful.
Yeah, but I think it still can meet a match. So mix and match. So it's basically that says a minimum. So health currently is working with E10.
Yeah, but the implementations certify against an old version, and if you combine them in a platform release, then you may see issues very late, if at all.
Yeah, so we have to see whether any issues. I think is kind of for the implementation, maybe be able to fix. If not, I think that will be a real business need. I think we have to force health to do an update. We have to wait and see. Now it's early days, so it's if there's a real issue, I think so. Yeah, health has to be do a release. So it's basically this is a time statement. So it's we have to see monitor it. So that's for the MicroProfile 7. The other thing I want to say is kind of also related to the 7 is the GPMS support. I know a few kind of project got this GPMS issues raised. I kind of think maybe it's for the any spec doing an update, and I think it's kind of we can do what Jakarta has done. Basically, it's support GPMS, so provide the basically is a module name and etc. So it's yeah, I kind of I'm willing to say MicroProfile 7 advocate GPMS support. Are there any objections?
No, I also support that. We should make it possible to use named modules for all the specifications, and therefore make it possible for implementations to use that module system too and rely on it.
Okay, so can you put up the minutes there? Yeah, with what you said. Well, I'm typing on. Yeah, put it in here. The GPMS support. Okay, so for this also I will follow up on the minutes on the Google basically group mailing list to say what we are agreed on here. Unless you disagree, please shout now if you disagree. So say under MP7 for any updated specs, GPS must be supported. Okay. Thank you, Yan. Okay, so we move forward for the MP starter. So last time I basically Majid is also joined this call. At the moment, Majid and I are working on the MP starter. So it's for kind of other like players. Please join the call or do some PRs. So at the moment, let me see who else on the call. Of Alfonso, if you can get somebody from kind of or Luis, get somebody from like Payara to join the call or collaborate on the MP starter, that would be great, because the Payara I think is also quite active. Is quite active there on the certification upfront and etc. It would be great to add the Piara on the starter to be up to date as well. But obviously, when we try to add to the starter, you need some Piara knowledges. Like that okay?
Yeah. That is our plan for this month to start to join the calls. When is the next one? Next week, I think.
Yeah, in the calendar. Let me see the calendar. MicroProfile calendar. So that will be the kind of the
Yeah,
week.
so that is on Mondays, and the next one is for the 28th.
Yeah, 29th. 29th is Monday. With every other week.
Okay. Mhm.
Yeah. So and in the meanwhile, have a look at the PRs, outstanding PRs, and yeah, on that kind of the repository, that would be great.
Excellent. Yeah. We are going to organize us and start to join calls and also collaborate more with the
Oh,
starter.
that's great. Thank you. Is that Luis or Afonso?
Yeah. We together we are going to
Okay,
coordinate and make the effort. Yeah.
Yeah, great. Thank you. Okay, so basically it's Majid brought up basically Majid trying to help out to add 6.0 and 6.1 on this list. And then the kind of question is which version to be removed. I took a trying to get a status, however, I couldn't access to the kind of the stats, the server. So I will continue working with with the one who own the system, and then trying to work out the start. We'll see. So that's kind of pretty much for the MP starter. Are there any comments? Majid, you want to say anything?
Well, I think we should remove before the 4.1 and we should add 6.0 and 6.1. And on the Java SE version, we can remove before Java 11, or we can before Java 17. I think I saw the Spring. It's they are remove Java 8 and Java 11, and they use only LTS support.
At this point of time, Majid, don't remove anything as yet, because
Yep.
I was asked to check the status first, so we see
Okay.
usage, and also like just add the 6.0 for now, and I'll ask 17, Java 17, and also Java 21 on the list, and then we will once I can get a hold of the backend, I will find out the stats, and then we can go from there.
In the MicroProfile IO website, we can we don't see before 4.1.
I don't quite understand.
I want to share the link. MicroProfile.
Oh no, that's because the compatible, basically the certification
Yep.
process was not
Contact.
the compatible kind of certification process was not established before 4.1. So that's why it's no
I got it.
That's previously is pretty much a kind of trustworthy kind of statement. If you say you support 4.1 and then this starter updated.
Yep.
So that's all documented in the wiki, not in the website.
I got it.
With that, I think we are all done. So the nice short meeting to start the year. Are there any last minute points?
Yeah, I want to raise like a concern. If you may notice, I know James is aware about this. Jakarta REST 4 is changing the baseline for Java 21, which may
No, that's already so. Roberto, I cut you short for now. That's already been settled. They will go back to 17.
okay.
And
They did. I mean, the last time that I checked the email thread, there were some people didn't want to go back, but if they're going back, that's fine. Then
yeah, that's all settled. So even E11 going to go back. Okay.
Yeah, there was just to clarify that there was just a platform call that is moving this Jakarta E11 spec itself back to 17, which is going to require any component to be compliant with 17. And Jim Kruger from IBM has, for the REST spec itself, has put forth an option to do maybe a Jakarta REST 3.2, which we formally deprecate the at context injection stuff in, instead of just a slight documentation that said it's going to be removed and then all of a sudden it's dropped. So hopefully that will help some of the MicroProfile stuff as well, and users as well, so they know that context injection is going to be used purely with CDI now.
Yeah, and then that PR will also change the base from 21 to 17.
Yes.
So this is all being backed by the platform. So that's all sorted. Okay, so let's end on a high note. And you have like a 22 minutes back. Thank you, and see you on other meetings. And yeah, please join the live hangout next week, same time. Thank you all. Bye.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.